"Well?" she asked anxiously from the other side of the stall. As I flung open the door, I waved the stick and shouted, "Is that a second line? I think that's a second line." I couldn't believe what the test seemed to be indicating, but the second and third test I took later confirmed it. They were positive, and so was I. I was pregnant. I told my husband a few days later, on his birthday. Along with the usual birthday gifts, there was one special present, a bib that declared him world's greatest dad. Oh, and I included the pregnancy test, because what guy doesn't want to hold something that you peed on? After the initial shock wore off, we laughed and cried. Then I told him that I knew just how I wanted to tell our families. We would invite everyone for dinner to celebrate his birthday, but we would give each of our parents a little present once they arrived. Continuing the trend, I bought 4 more little bibs, one for each of the world's greatest grandmas and the world's greatest granddads. The day came, and as we passed out the presents, I wished that we had taken pictures, because that moment of pure joy was one of a kind. It would be the last time that we would say, "We are pregnant," without the quiet little fear that whispers, "But what if it happens again?" I was so proud as I called to schedule my first OB/GYN appointment. I was moving into the ranks of motherhood, a role I had dreamt of since childhood. The receptionist asked how far along I thought I might be. She told me that they didn't usually schedule the first appointment until around 12 weeks, so we set the appointment for early October. It was my first pregnancy, and so while I thought it was a very long wait, I didn't question their procedures. Back then, I didn't realize that they waited to schedule the first appointment because the majority of miscarriages happen before 12 weeks. Just a couple of weeks later, I woke up and instantly knew something was wrong. I was in pain. I remembered hearing that your body makes room for the baby and stretching can cause discomfort. But this was different. This was pain. Immediately, fear warned me what could happen next. The phone rang 5 times before anyone answered. "Hello, this is Becky Thompson, and I'm pregnant." The person on the other end interrupted, asking for my birth date. "Yes, I know that my appointment isn't for another month, but..." "No, I haven't been seen yet, but I'm experiencing some discomfort, and there are some other indications that I might be losing the baby." "I know that there are no available appointments. I was just wondering if this was an emergency or if I could speak with a nurse." I left my name and number and prayed that someone at their office would return my call. I called my husband and my mom. None of us knew what to do next. 3 days went by with no response to my desperate messages and voicemails. No one seemed to care that I might be losing this baby. I felt helpless and unheard. The bleeding had slowed, but it hadn't stopped. I was terrified, but I didn't have anyone else that I trusted to call. I guess I just thought that every doctor's office would act this way. I know better now. I spent the next few days at home lying flat on the couch, as though I could stop what I feared the most. As I lay there, I prayed. I asked God to heal my body and protect my child. I told him all about how I had made plans for this baby. I told him that I had a girl's name picked out. She would be my sweet Kaylin Joy, and I desperately wanted to meet her. When hope seems lost. There's a story in the Bible that tells about King Nebuchadnezzar, who erected a large statue of himself and declared that all of the people must bow and worship it. 3 men of God defied the king and were threatened with death. Their response? If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. But even if he does not, I made the decision to live right there on those words. I parked my mind on the truth that God would still be God even if he didn't answer me. I reminded myself that even if he did not save my baby, he was still able and good and worthy of my devotion. I resolved to focus on those words alone and not the words that fear whispered, the relentless what-ifs. When the phone rang that Wednesday evening, a man's voice was on the other end. "Hello, I'm returning a call for Becky Thompson. I'm going to prescribe you some medicine for the pain and some medicine that you can take the next time you are pregnant to help you keep the baby." In my hope, I refused to hear him. "Thank you so much for calling me back. Do I need to..."